There's no easy way to say it, but this reality, there's so many choices. It is one reality, but it could have gone so many different ways. The Lord told me to get on the camera and share it because it's real. Estefania is gone forever. I'm not sure. I mean, it's arrogant of me to say that, like, I'll see her in the afterlife, where I don't know if she will be in the afterlife, right? But she is gone, and am still in pain about it. It's June 16. It's been 2 years. Season 4, episode 6 of Rick and Morty. A show with a narrative that's compelling about making choices and about changing the future, the present, the experimentation of the multiverse travel is really just an exploration of morality with like a detachment. It was hedonistic at first, and Rick was suicidal and crazy. It would fuck things up. And then I started being like that in college, and then it cost me a lot of fucking heartache, a lot of failed relationships, a lot of pain, all self induced because I was being hedonistic. I was afraid to get hurt, but I was still courageous and I still took chances. But then the chances started blowing up because I got insecure about being happy. And then I ruined a lot of relationships. And then I turned down relationships. I didn't feel worthy. And good women were coming up to me. Good women wanted to be with me. I find myself 38 years old now, almost 40, single, and praying to God to getting a wife, praying to give it to Him. But I don't think that's how it works. I don't think it'll work like that ever. Not to mention that that I have to self heal. The healing does have to come from me. And it's hard. It's going to be very difficult because you got to look internally, and internally it's going to suck. I mean, I just broke down now. Watch the episode where the pivotal moment in Rick Sanchez's life. It's the journey we all want to reach. And Dan Harmon, the other guys, that's their journey. They're expressing their life in a metaphor through the cartoon, through the design. And through that design, if you give a character infinite power and almost immortality and the ability to adapt to any situation, you have a Goku type. But Goku is flawed, so he relies on his friends. The new Goku is overpowered. So that's why he's not as compelling. The new Goku is not as compelling as Rick Sanchez because Rick Sanchez is the human that we all are. Flawed, we struggle, and then we hit a certain point where we evolve. We hit a peak and then things change for us. And what am I doing right now? I'm adapting. I'm Rick Sanchezing this media thing. No, I'm not even close. But the point is, he finished it in season 6. Not even halfway through. Maybe that's the halfway point. That's the character arc. So the Rick and Morty show, as they follow the hero's journey of the circle. I think it was season 6, where they had the story train, the literal literary device, which was a train. They explored more concepts, and then Rick went to God. Rick prayed to Christ. Rick and Morty prayed to Christ. And Christ came into the cartoon and saved them. Then they went back to their old ways, the multiverse. Then they started getting zeitgeist with the information. Oh, this God, this, but no. Okay, so this is the other part of the testimony. The definition of the Bible. In a few simple words, I don't know how many it is. The Bible is a literary narrative of human nature and the spiritual connection to our Creator. A biblical anthology of human nature and our spiritual connection to our Creator. The Bible is an anthology of human nature and our connection, spiritual connection, to our Creator. Everyone in the Old Testament was flawed. Everyone was flawed. Everyone did the gravest of sins, kind of like us. And that's why God was harsher on humanity. That's why God was more disciplinary as a father, right? Because, man, David killed one of his best soldiers in the conquest of God. He killed him so he could take his wife. Some Romeo and Juliet stuff right there. Tragic. Tragic ambitions. But he chose David, and he knew David would be flawed. And then this dives into the real time scenario of human will and human nature. It's ever changing. But even though God gives us structure and specific commands on how to live, and I failed a couple of hours ago, God gives us that. But even when we make the gravest of mistakes, we completely mess up. He gives us Christ. He gives us a way out. He gives us the plan after the backup plan. He gives us the backup plan for ourselves. I, I don't know if this is me prophesying, if this is me getting into it as I'm communicating through my pains, through the pain that I've felt in my life, and I'm pushing it forward as a learning lesson, as a learning experience. Why all this time have I had all these skill sets and this passion and this drive, mindlessly collecting technology to get to this point to make these videos? God redeemed me to tell the story. He chose me to tell the story. And I've tried to destroy my life so many times because I didn't feel worth it. I didn't feel like I was worth it. I have wanted to die. I've had suicidal fantasies, and I've had suicidal plans of how to carry it out. But then he also gave me this brain. Somehow I'm so resilient. I don't understand how I'm so resilient. He saved me from being dead after I got ran over by a car when I was 4 years old. in the same fucking car. He saved me from a concussion I got in my head with a permanent scar. A permanent scar. I'm assuming it captured it. Physical death, so I can achieve spiritual rebirth and continue living and learning to get to this point where I'm making this video as a testimony. I'm scared. I'm uncomfortable doing this. Majority of the excitement in setting this up was making it happen because I love to create. But now I'm here, like, I'm giving this to the world and I'm afraid of how it's going to be taken. I'm afraid to be attacked. I'm afraid to be stabbed at. In my heart, there's a trail of mess and chaos I've made. And the only way to get out of my current condition is to put myself out there. I have to. I can't hide anymore. And if I can't hide anymore, that means I'm opening myself up to everybody, the public. And there are some people I've hurt that are not going to be happy that I'm out there. If they're watching, if you're watching this, and listen, I am sorry. Because now I see the filter was removed. I was operating from a place where I felt like I wasn't in control. I was acting out. I was lashing out. I was acting in my worst instincts, in my worst behavior. And if I could share that, I wish you get to a place of peace and that I'm so irrelevant in your life that I didn't alter it or I didn't change it. And that's just to people I've hurt. It's not even to the women I fell in love with and who loved me back, but I felt unworthy to receive it, that I sabotaged it. I became an asshole. I became a dick. I became exactly like Rick, afraid to be vulnerable. This is where storytelling is compelling in communicating that message, because the story now has to be about me. It has to be of myself. Being invested and having that pain, I have a pain in my heart. I have not let go of Estefania. Estefania was a woman I was seeing. It lasted 1 week, and then she died in her sleep. I was the last person to see her alive because we planned for her to show up and have sex. And then she went home. But a piece of me was falling in love with her, and I was going to ask her to stay the night. And then she died in her sleep from a seizure. Nobody else knows this. In her family or anyone, I never told her mom that I was with her. I guess I didn't want to stain the last remnant memories people have of her. But then again, that's a selfish concept because I am the least qualified in the memories, but it hit me hard, and it jolts me again every time I see the posts from her mom on social media. Her birthday's coming up in August, and I might see it again. I might skip the app, but who knows? I keep deleting the Facebook app and adding it up. I really don't know what to do with these videos. If they're not public, they're in my archive, but it's a testimony. Podcast, maybe. I'm kind of a difficult person to work with. My brain just wants to go to the bigger picture all the time. Yes, I can't be just happy with doing the one simple thing. That's my human nature. That's my human will. That's not God. God gave me the skill sets, fearfully made in the womb. I have the flesh of my father biologically and my mom biologically. I look like my dad. But I have a different dad who was better and God put him there. Tim. Tim really rescued me, and really Tim's the only one that believes in me. I mean, I've proved to myself. And when he asked me over the phone, do you want us to stay there? We can stay there one night. I'm just like, I gave a face like, oh, I'm not worthy. I can't really host. And I really feel like I can't host. And now the next scenario is paying rent. I have to break something out. In 4 hours, I got to talk to my last employer and find out. Like, this last conversation is going to be so pointless. So part of me is just going to say, hey, why don't you just tell her the truth? Just tell her how you think the job was garbage, the people were shitty. It wouldn't be gossip, because then I would be saying, this is my honest feedback to you. I hate that job. I hate that position. I hated the people. And I mean that euphemistically. I don't actually hate them. I hate how I was being treated. I hate how I was being spoken to. I was irritated with them, with the leadership. Annoyed by the arrogance and the ego that they have. Why? Because you're there? Because you've been there longer? That just means that you kiss ass more. That just means that you're comfortable with being the same person that doesn't change and doesn't evolve. How is that better than me? What makes you think that you can just talk any way you want to me? What makes you think you can just shit on me? Like my life and my perspectives don't have value. I've been through more than you, most likely. Okay? Is that my ego? Is that my human nature? Yes, it is. But now it's righteously. I'm aiming it righteously. But I will admit, I was an awful employee because of the respect I want. And because I asked them, and because I kept telling them, don't talk to me that way. What is the deal? Don't talk to me that way. There's no need to do that. So much emotion just went into 20 minutes. I don't even understand this. I'll end it at the current year, 2025.